Coming up, Flagstaff joins hundreds of other cities to protest for women's rights. Plus, more delays in the massive effort to reduce the fire danger in nearby national forests. The news starts now.
You're watching NAZ Today, Northern Arizona's local news.
Good evening and welcome to NAZ Today. I'm Christian Ayala.
And I'm Lacey Fraun. Thanks for tuning in. Well, I'm sure most of you woke up to the lightning and thunderstorms during the early hours of this morning.
That's right, Lacey. Monsoon season just came to an end late last week, but we are still getting some heavy rains. NAZ Today's Tori Smith joins us live in the studio with more weather updates.
Thanks, Christian. I know I for sure woke up this morning to those thunder and lightning storms because they were extremely loud. So let's take a look at what's going on right now. In the past, at 3:30, we had a tornado warning in Yavapai and Coconino County. That is very intense. We haven't had one of those in a very long time. But right now, we are seeing a severe thunderstorm watch, and that should be continuing until about 9 p.m. I'll have more later on in the show with monsoon totals and more weather. Back to you on desk.
Thank you, Tori. What started years ago as an advocacy group for Native Americans is now providing health care and other services for Indigenous people throughout northern Arizona. NAZ Today's Aleja Vallejo has the story.
Native Americans for Community Action, or NACA, is now a major force for Native Americans in the region, and this year marks their 50th year of serving the Flagstaff community. NACA was originally established under the name Indian Center Organization and began with fundraising and building support within the community. In 1991, it was designated as the first federal urban Indian health center in northern Arizona. There are only 41 urban Indian health centers in the country. Carrie Dallas has been involved with NACA since the beginning. Her first job was as a file clerk when she was 16 years old.
Come to town every 2 weeks, and I know there were families that, there were places where we didn't go, and so NACA, I think, provided that safe spot, that safe place for families to go and take their picnic lunches.
Dallas returned to NACA in 2014 and is now the project coordinator for the Lasting Indigenous Family Enrichment, or LIFE, program. This program focuses on promoting traditional tribal practices, healthy lifestyles, and building resiliency and connection between community, family, and culture.
NACA is available to anybody in the community. And if people do not have resources, we can either put them on a sliding fee scale or we can help them get onto access. We'll find ways to get people the care they need.
Besides its many programs, NACA is currently working on a drop-in center for unsheltered relatives. AXO says NACA will continue to promote health and wellness as they celebrate 50 years of operation. Aleja Vallejo, NAZ Today.
A statewide initiative to increase funding for higher education is being launched in Arizona. The initiative would require the state legislature to fund higher education at 50% of the cost of tuition and fees for undergrad students, or they can add a 2% increase on corporate income tax. The initiative also puts a lock on tuition and fees from the beginning to end of an undergrad student's four-year college enrollment, and it limits the increases of cost of living. The initiative will be discussed by students and local government groups at the series of forums from now between July of 2022.
The fate of Flagstaff's minimum wage may end up being decided by a Phoenix judge at the issue of legality. The law passed by the state legislature that would be essentially to fine the city more than $1 million because voters here approved a $15 an hour minimum wage. A Maricopa County judge will decide whether the new law violates State Voter Protection Act. A hearing is expected within a month.
Local activists answered a nationwide call against recent anti-abortion legislation, holding a march over the weekend. NAZ Today's Sheridan Herman has the story.
Recent laws passed in Texas and Mississippi have spurred Flagstaff residents to action. Over 90 anti-abortion laws have been passed just in 2021, including Senate Bill 1457 in Arizona last April that stops the abortion of fetuses with certain genetic disorders. Women's March organizers say it's a well past time to take a stand.
As a unified voice in particular, we have the power to talk back and push for what's right. And, abortion justice is very high on that agenda.
Co-host of the march, Deborah Block, says it's all about saving Roe v. Wade, the 1973 Supreme Court case granting legal abortion.
We have, the legal right, but the legal right doesn't, automatically transfer to access. So we need to educate our communities just how serious of a moment this is.
The National Women's March organization gained notoriety after staging protests after the 2016 election. Since then, they haven't slowed down, creating events in communities around the country. Protester Paula Mack says marches in small communities like Flagstaff can be just as powerful as those in the big cities.
Well, I think it's important for all communities. I think not only the metro, but also the smaller towns like Flagstaff. I just feel like it's essential to be represented.
NAU students were also involved. The Arizona Students Association organized events to mobilize young people and marched from NAU to City Hall Saturday afternoon.
We have so many things to say, and we have such great opinions, and we have voices that deserve to be heard. So we're trying to get students involved and make sure they're using their voice and they're empowering themselves and their peers to speak on the issues that matter to them.
While the Women's March gained attention from drivers on Route 66, not everybody joined in. Smaller counter-protest groups gathered, advocating for the pro-life side.
I think it's important to know that there is another side, though we might not be the majority of people, that we believe that life starts at conception and that it's taking a life.
Several hundred people turned out for this march, but organizers say the fight is far from over.
We want to push beyond Roe. We want legality, but we also want, safety and compassion and destigmatization, and so we want to move beyond.
So what do we want? Choice. When do we want it? Always.
Sheridan Herman, NAZ Today.
When do we want it?
Each year around this time, Toys for Tots starts to set up and gather toys for children throughout northern Arizona. But this year has been a bit more challenging for the organization as it struggled to find a place for their operations to take place. Tots needs a warehouse, a place for receiving and delivering gifts to children in need. However, it's been a bit harder finding that place.
We always had wonderful people that owned warehouse space out by the airport, and they always let us use their warehouse space. But this is the very first year that we have been this long without warehouse space.
Luckily, the message got out and people started opening their doors. Morning Dew Landscaping on Huntington Drive volunteered to lend their warehouse space for the gift-giving cause. Toys for Tots is now looking for volunteers to sign up or find out more information. You can visit their website at www.toysfortots.org. The largest forest thinning project in Arizona is making progress, but it's also running into problems. The Forest Restoration Project, or FORFRI, has canceled its contract for Phase 2 and is starting over again. NAZ Today's Emma Long explains.
The Forest Restoration Project involves 2.4 million acres of forest, including Apache sitgreaves, Coconino, Kaibab, and Tonto national forests. This large-scale, holistic approach takes into account entire ecosystems, including large animals with lots of territory. The project has been in progress since 2010. However, according to Chief Executive Jeremy Kruger, only 30% of the total acreage in Phase 1 has been restored.
So essentially, FORFRI has restored forests on an area the size of Tucson, Arizona, but our goal was to get an area the size of Phoenix, Arizona done. So we've done well, but we haven't gotten as much as we'd liked.
Kruger says, in a way, it's a trial and error process.
They were really shooting for tens of thousands of acres over 20 years, actually over 10 years, and they were able to harvest about 13,000 acres. Now, That contract underperformed, and that's widely accepted. And what we learned from that has been a large part of efforts to move forward into the next phase.
Forefry and its partners will be taking a fresh approach as they figure out what Phase 2 should look like.
It's a lot of land and it's a lot of acreage that needs to be covered. So, if you're not able to meet that quota and you got a project of this magnitude and, it's pretty black and white, things have to change.
CEO Kruger says what the project needs is hard to find. Large-scale contractors who have the capacity to take on such a large project and are willing to do so.
So to really scale up, industry needs to make an investment. In order to get the funding, the capital for that investment, they need to have certainty of supply.
Kruger says the next phase will include greater economic incentives to provide some certainty for contractors. Forefry will refine the plans for Phase 2 over the next few months.
Hopefully a generation from now, Northern Arizona can be known as one of the most ecologically diverse areas in the world.
Emma Long, NAZ Today.
Coming up, Northern Arizona celebrates Indigenous Peoples Day. Stay with us.
You have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Heard about the scarecrow who won an award? He was outstanding in his field.
Welcome back. This next coming Monday, many Indigenous locals in the city are gathering to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day.
The relatively new holiday was first declared in 1992 in Berkeley, California, and has since then been adopted by different cities throughout the country. Flagstaff first celebrated the holiday back in 2019. It's a holiday that has been long overdue, a day to celebrate the indigenous tribes that once prospered in the Americas.
It really is a time to celebrate and honor our ancestors, and really a day for others who are non-Indigenous to learn about the diverseness of Indigenous peoples and communities.
Despite many supporters, there are those who still oppose the holiday and instead favor recognizing the second Monday of October as Columbus Day.
There is movement nationally to change that to Indigenous Peoples Day, and the reason for that is to celebrate Indigenous communities rather than to celebrate a person who promoted genocide and slavery of many Indigenous communities.
While Indigenous Peoples Day was signed into recognition by Governor Doug Ducey in 2020, the commemorative day does not replace Columbus Day, but instead accompanies it.
But Indigenous people, we've survived, we've persisted, and we're still here today, celebrating our culture, celebrating who we are, and I think that's something to celebrate.
Regardless, many locals are still excited to celebrate and embrace their culture, hoping to educate people on their traditions and customs.
And we want to encourage our young, youthful Indigenous leaders to be able to, feel entitled and to feel strong in their inheritance and in their identity, and we really just want to celebrate that. And
Indigenous Peoples Day is next Monday. The city of Flagstaff will also be hosting a virtual celebration.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. Why would you do that?
Probably okay isn't okay. Call a cab, a car, or a friend.
Good choice.
Welcome back to NAZ Today. I'm your Tuesday night student forecaster, Tori Smith, and we are going to take a look at what we saw today that was so interesting. That's right, we saw a tornado warning. You heard me right, a tornado warning. I think that is so crazy. We saw it in Coconino and Yavapai County at around 3:30 p.m. Don't worry though, we are not expecting that anymore. We are now expecting severe thunderstorms until about 8 p.m. So you can look forward to that, but definitely take the precautions that you need for those, such as staying inside, be safe when you're driving. And now everybody's favorite thing, monsoon totals. We finally have them and we're gonna take a look. We had a very wet year this year, which is really good. 2021 totals, Flagstaff at 10.90 inches, Page at 2.10 inches, and Show Low 12.50 inches. As you can see, we are doing pretty good on every single city except for there was one out there that didn't quite hit it, and that was, I can't see it, Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon did not hit it at 4.73, almost had it, but the average is 5.34. So those are your monsoon totals for this year. Hopefully next year we will have something similar. Let's take a look at our current satellite. We are seeing quite the cloud coverage here in northern Arizona and Arizona just in general. Look at all that movement right over here. As you can see, we have some circling winds. That is probably what caused our tornado warning today. So we are going to be seeing hopefully no more tornadoes. Flagstaff currently, we are seeing a beautiful rain right now. I took this video earlier. I'm super happy with it. I love the rain so much, so that was really exciting. Temperature, 46 degrees and cloudy and a relative humidity of 93%. That is pretty high, so we are expecting rain further into the night and those beautiful thunderstorms that wake you up all night long. 56 was our high for today, 37 being our low. Pretty on average with these temperatures of 35 and 68, but nowhere close to those records, which is a good thing. Precipitation, we got quite a lot today at 0.71 inches, adding to our January 1st total. However, monsoon season did come to an end, so that will not be adding to any of those totals for that season. High temperatures across the state today were all pretty solid. 49 in Grand Canyon, that's my favorite type of weather. 77 in Las Vegas, 55 in Prescott and Phoenix, pretty good at 80 degrees. Thunderstorms almost everywhere, and tonight they are going to continue as well with those severe thunderstorms. Once again, 37 is our low for tonight. Beautiful sunset already happened at 6:04, but you can look forward to the sunrise tomorrow at 6:25 a.m. Forecast high for tomorrow, 65. Surprisingly sunny considering we have all of these storms, but forecast temperatures across the state for tomorrow are all going to look pretty good, especially because it's going to be sunny out. 80 degrees in Kingman is the high, 72 in Prescott is the high, and Phoenix rose a whooping 10 degrees at 90. That is crazy. I can't believe how much weather can do that. Let's look at our forecasted temperatures for this week. 65 on Wednesday, 65 on Thursday, increasing cloud coverage for this day. Some possible showers on Friday, about 50%, 61 degrees, 60 degrees on Saturday, and a lovely 61 degrees on Sunday. That is all we have for weather, but stay tuned for sports after the break. Stay with us.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Welcome back to NAZ Today. I'm your sports reporter, Kristen Chancellor, and today we are talking all things football. The Flagstaff Eagles are sitting 4-1 right now after their most recent game against the Winslow Bulldogs. Winslow held their own throughout the game while Flagstaff struggled with mistakes. I caught up with a few of the players and head coach John Manning after their game last Thursday. The Flagstaff Eagles took on the Winslow Bulldogs Thursday for their homecoming matchup. The Eagles unfortunately had mistakes in the first half, slowing them down, leading to their first loss of the season, 14-12.
A little bit of trouble at practice this week, a little bit of distraction. We just, I don't think we were all the way focused, but we did the best we could.
The Flagstaff Eagles were disappointed in the loss, but were surprised to see the support they had from fans and family who came out to the game.
Tonight, I was making comment earlier, I haven't seen the stands filled that much, in quite some time. It's really refreshing. I think that, perhaps the 4-0 start that we had, brought them.
With fans and family filling the stands to show support, it plays a role into the game these players can have and the momentum that they bring.
Fans, everybody, they bring great energy to us. Like if we're down, they can just help us out. And the momentum, we realize we got to bounce back from this one. We can't dwell on it too long, so we just got to get going again.
The Eagles are looking to move past this loss and on to the next game against Marcus Deniza.
I think the best thing we can do right now is just study them and have a good weeks of practice and just play our game and come out and leave it on the field.
A group of strong players who are like family, ready to put this loss behind them, including a group of seniors who are determined to come out on top this season.
Well, I don't know what kind of charisma the other opponents have and what kind of players they have, but we have a lot of kids that are really witty, and you got to see them off the field. They just have a great friendship, partnership.
They look to go back on a winning streak this upcoming Friday when they take on Marcus Deniza at the Skydome at 7 p.m. Moving over to college sports, the NAU football team took home a win Saturday against Idaho State 48-17. The Lumberjacks were coming off a loss to Northern Colorado from the week prior and needed a win to boost their confidence. Key players for this team included freshman quarterback R.J. Martinez, who was awarded Big Sky Offensive Player of the Week with 369 yards and 3 touchdowns. Next on the offense, Coleman Owen and Jamal Glaspie, who both had 2 touchdowns each. On to the defense, Morgan Vest found himself being awarded Defensive Player of the Week for the second time in his career as a Lumberjack. The Lumberjacks shined for the crowd on Family Weekend, proving they have a strong lineup this year. The Lumberjacks will have a bye week this week while preparing for homecoming weekend on October 16th when they take on Southern Utah. Well, that's all we have for sports. Stick around for a weather recap after the break.
When I first
saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We have this like deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education.
Right up here.
So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future.
My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back. We are going to take one last look at weather before we move on. So we are looking at 65 on Wednesday, 65 on Thursday, increasing cloud coverage right over here. Friday, slight chance of rain at 61 degrees, 60 degrees on Saturday, and Sunday, 61 degrees. By the way, that tornado warning earlier, there was no damage whatsoever, so we are all in the clear for that. Back to you guys on desk.
Thank you, Tori. With these cooler fall temperatures in the forecast, I think it's safe to say that it's now acceptable to make all those infamous fall treats.
That's right. Tomorrow is National Pumpkin Seed Day. As silly as that sounds, pumpkin seeds are pretty nutritious. What better way to spend a rainy day than snackling on delicious treat? And here is a recipe shared by our weather reporter, Tori Smith. I don't know about you, Lacey, but I tried it myself. It's,
You did? Well, Tori, I'd love to hear about this recipe. What are some key ingredients that you put on your pumpkin seeds?
It is really good. It's actually only 3 ingredients, so it's really simple. Just garlic, salt, olive oil, and pumpkin seeds, and that is all you need. It's really good. My mother and I made it, so we are super excited to share that with you guys today.
Oh man, Tori, this really excites me for the fall season. I love snacking and I love pumpkin seeds. I can't wait to carve my pumpkin and gut out all the seeds and cook them like you do.
That is all we have for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. If you'd like to see more, visit our YouTube channel at NAZ Today. Thank you so much.